Welcome to my office, detectives. There's been a situation happening in the cell. There's a recent perpetrator in the cell. Some sort of nasty virus has completely infiltrated the cell, and we have reason to believe it's because of the cell membrane. We are tasking you to get to the bottom of this.
Yes, boss. We'll get straight to it, boss. We won't let you down, Mr. Boss. So, what is the cell membrane?
I don't know. I guess we have to ask around then and find the culprit.
Who's there? I'm a little busy upholding the structure of the cell membrane over here.
Sorry to bother you, but we're here to investigate you. You're the prime suspect in our case here. Do you know anything about a virus, perhaps?
How dare you? How would I know anything about a virus?
Well, we weren't instructed to come and investigate you for no reason. What do you even need control of in the cell?
What do you mean, what does that mean? Firstly, I control the phospholipid bilayer. It's made up of a phospholipid head and a fatty acid tail. But of course you wouldn't know anything about that, so I'll explain it to you.
What does that even mean? Explain yourself this instant.
This layer of the cell membrane consists of those two parts. Like I said, it is amphipathic, meaning it has both the head and the tail. The hydrophilic head is polar and likes to interact with water outside the cell, but the hydrophobic tail is nonpolar and will not interact with water. This helps with a stable barrier between inside and outside of the cell.
I mean, I already knew that, but it was interesting.
They also make the whole membrane semi-permeable, literally controlling anything that goes in and out of the cell.
Alright then. I guess you're doing your job, but you're not off the hook.
Ugh, typical detectives. Why don't you ask Miss Protein?
Is protein? Alright.
Come on in. I'm just exercising over here, so don't mind me. What is it that you need?
Hello, we're here to investigate possible suspects of a virus.
The suspect you're looking for. I'm doing everything I need to be doing in the cell membrane. You must be looking for someone else.
How do we know? Walk us through what you even do in the cell membrane.
I mean, I'm kind of a big deal. I help with communication.
Oh, that means you're really suspicious. You could have communicated with the virus.
I did not. Let me show you what I'm really doing around here.
Oh, yes, please. Do show us what you do around here.
You see, there are two different important proteins in the membrane, the integral proteins and the peripheral proteins. In fact, the integral proteins are permanently embedded in the cell membrane. These proteins help molecules that are supposed to enter and exit the cell. To do so, however, there's also a transmembrane proteins, which are also integral proteins, but they span the entire membrane. They are important for transporting molecules in and out of the cell and for signal transduction.
What in the world is that? This ain't making me believe you anymore.
There are other kinds of proteins as well, such as peripheral proteins, which are only temporary part of the cell. They allow some structural support and anchorage and attachment. They can act as enzymes. There's also structures of us called cell junctions that are on the membrane and help connect us to other cells. Hugely helps in communication. I'm aware of what is going on around the cell, so I have control over internal structures and cell recognition by interacting with other cells.
Then who else could be behind this though? It isn't the fault of the lipids or the proteins in the cell.
It could be Mr. Cholesterol. Maybe he's always been shady.
We know what you did!
Huh? What do you mean? You can't just barge in here.
You're under arrest for trying to destroy the cell with a virus.
No, you got it all wrong. I regulate the fluidity of the membrane. I stay between the phospholipid head to keep everything stable. That way, things in the cell function properly. I could not possibly work with the virus. Oh yeah? Well, who did? I don't know. But I do know it's not Mr. Enzyme. He helps everyone lower their activation energy. The HMG-CoA reductase enzyme regulates my synthesis pathway, and he would never do such a thing.
And like we always do.
Oh no. Mr. Cholesterol! He was my favorite!
This is a tragedy. I can't believe it.
I guess he's in the clear then.
Well, then, if it's not the lipids that keep things structured, or the proteins that keep communication, and not cholesterol who keeps the phospholipids secure, then who is it? Oh, glycolipids and glycoproteins!
We're losing time. We have to solve this mystery right away.
Mr. Glycolipids and Miss Glycoproteins, you're under suspicion for spreading the virus and infecting our cell.
This is madness! Why would we do such a thing?
This has to be a mistake!
Then what's your alibi? What do you do around here?
Well, I'm a carb who's attached to a lipid embedded in the membrane, so I play a pretty huge role around here.
And I'm a carb attached to a protein embedded in the membrane.
You know, all of us protrude from the membrane and create a whole layer on the outside of the surface of the cell called the glycol.
And with this layer, we keep out viruses. We have strong cell recognition, meaning we have the ability to identify whether the cells touching around us are regular or other cells of the body or a foreign invader.
Yeah, so no way the real virus can just get in here. We're probably the most alert ones up here in this membrane. With our signal transduction, we can detect signals from the environment, and when it binds to our receptors, we can respond accordingly. Any light, sound, or touch is felt by us, so we were always on the lookout.
I know! We are so alert that your accusation seems silly. Just so you know, we also aid in the cell being able to anchor to a surface, such as surrounding tissue, in order for the cell to grow. So I'm sure we have the power to kick you out and anchor the door shut, so you can't come back here and taunt us with your ideas.
Yeah! We can believe the things you can't believe, the things you accuse of. Come on.
Well, you guys seem the one to have the closest link to possible viruses. It has to be you! I think you have a secret alliance with the virus!
Or you are just too lazy to do your job.
I guess they weren't working with the virus. We visited everyone. Who else could be the culprit?
Let's think through this logic. You're right, there's nobody else it could be!
Hold on, let's just read a book or something to learn everything we need to know about the cell membrane.
I've never read a book before, but hey, I say we give it a shot. Let's see. The cell membrane does a lot of things. It allows small particles to move from high to low concentrations in or out of the cell through simple diffusion. A means of passive transport, not requiring energy. Another passive transport is facilitated diffusion, which means particles move through protein channels.
And Miss Protein has very much been cleared already, and that enforces it.
Water can also get in and out of the cell through osmosis, where the water will move into an area with a high concentration of solute. But that doesn't mean the nasty virus can get in like the water does. There's also active transport, which requires energy, where proteins pumps allow in or out particles. But those don't just let anything in, so this virus should not have been able to infiltrate.
So you need to stop out.
Are we having some trouble? This is quite a difficult case to solve.
No, sir, we've got it under control.
I know you don't have it under control because you're looking in the wrong places. None of the beloved parts of the membrane were doing their job incorrectly. the culprit is much less obvious.
Huh?
You've fallen into my trap. I infiltrated the membrane with a virus. I was trying to solve the case while the virus got to destroying things. I come from a rival cell, and I've been waiting for a chance to just take over and destroy.